that Ukraine is the red line. There's a really weird dynamic that I do not completely understand, but there's something about the boomer class of politicians who like never passed the torch. Like when I was a kid, like we had these politicians like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, and like it's all the same people. They like Joe Biden, like all these guys were in, and it's like they never wanted to give up power. Have you seen Dianne Feinstein? I mean, it's like, yo, lady, give it up, man.
Well, the thing is,
like
her staff doesn't want her to give it up because then they're all out of jobs.
Yeah.
But there's how many people working in that organization?
Several, but still, the fact that none of them ever seem to like be willing to pass the torch. It's a very and percentage of Congress. Yeah,
wow.
I mean, look at that. Isn't that insane?
Yeah. So you get into from 1980, it takes a dip and then it goes skyrocketing.
Yeah, that is really something.
Yeah.
And so and you know, even like with the presidencies, you know, it's like I guess Barack Obama is the exception where he kind of got past the torch, although he had to wrestle it away. Like it wasn't like they were just like lining up for him. It was he had to kind of steal it away from Hillary Clinton. But then like to even think that like Hillary Clinton was running for president in 2016 when your husband was running in 1992. Like it's 30 years later.
Yeah.
What are you doing, like, running still? Like, you're, you know, and there's just something about it. And I do think there's a big problem with it that I think there's, like, this kind of, this boomer mentality about America. And especially because these politicians are so, like, insulated and they live in such a bubble. You know what I mean? Like, they're not living like regular people. They're living these crazy lives. And it's almost like they still have this, I think they still suffer from not having adjusted to where America actually is today versus where they have it in their kind of post-World War II mind, where they're kind of like, yeah, listen, we said, you know, we said Vladimir Putin can't invade and that's that. We'll go show him he can't do that. And you're like, oh, okay, well, he did. And it's still not working. And guess what? You're not like so clearly this powerful country. You're a country that's 30 trillion plus in debt. And like actually you have a lot of signs of like societal decay, you know, like maybe like, you know, and I do think we'd be better off with like a younger generation having some influence in this. So
Jesus.
I like a lot of things about Vivek. I like a lot of things about RFK.
But he doesn't have a chance to beat Trump, right? Do you think he has a chance to be the vice president?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think for sure he has a chance at that or some other big position. I'd kind of rather see him get like some other more substantive position in Trump's cabinet rather than just vice president. Like I'd rather him be like the head of like, you know, some like really like unwind something in the deep state or something, you know, like I don't know what position exactly would be right for him. But I think he's definitely got a shot of being, you know, he has not been attacking Donald Trump, and Donald Trump has not been attacking him. Right. He's kind of defending Donald Trump, and so that, and Trump's been nothing but complimentary toward him. Yeah. He's in an interesting position where I have a very tough time seeing how Donald Trump is allowed to be back in. Like it seems to me like they'll do whatever they have to do.
But how far can they go? That's the question. While still maintaining what is.
Well,
in most people's eyes, a democracy. Like how?
Well, they seem to not be that concerned about maintaining that. I mean, the furthest they can go is a limo ride in Dallas, and short of that, they can perhaps they can get a jury to convict, and he's looking at 20 years. And the deal is either you go to jail for 20 years or you agree to not run for president or something like that. I mean, I don't know exactly how they can do it, but Vivek is in this interesting position where DeSantis, his campaign is really tanked and not turned into what anyone thought it might turn into. Yeah. And so now he's just kind of sitting there in the background while Trump is dealing with all these indictments in the system being turned against him. And Trump is wrecking DeSantis. He's not taking any blows, but he's just kind of there. You know, right. I mean, I think it's still a long shot for him to win. I don't know exactly how that would happen, but it's interesting. He's run a really good campaign so far, and he's got a lot of good stuff to say. I mean, he said the other day, they asked him who should be the Fed chairman, and he said maybe Ron Paul or Rand Paul, someone from that family. And, you know, I'm like watching him, I'm like, are you just talking to me right now, dude? Like, are you just trying to get me to vote for you? Who else is this appealing to? Because I'm way on board. So I like that a lot. I love that he's great on the Ukraine war. I love that RFK Jr. is great on that.
Yeah.
Great on that. RFK Jr. I think is a lot better on China. I think Vivek's a little bit too hawkish on China. I don't like that stuff he was talking about with like drone bombing Mexican cartels and all that shit. I just want someone. I want 5 years with no war.
Yeah.
You know, like just enough of that. But in general, I think he is more on the anti-war side. It's also just really smart, and he's younger, and he seems to like really believe in like reducing the size of the deep state and reducing the size of the administrative state, and that's really nice because we could really use that. And he seems to believe he has a plan for how he can get it done. He got very specific with me when he was on my show about like what statutes he would use to like fire people in these bureaucrat positions and how the president has the legal authority to do all of it. You know, I don't know if that would actually work or not, but at least he's taught. At least he's got a plan.
He sounds like a president.
Yeah. Well, he's just a very impressive guy.
Very
I mean,
impressive.
what is the guy? You know, he built like a gigantic company. He's only 37 years old. I think he's worth a ton of money.
Yeah.
Which somehow people think is a negative thing, but I just think is very impressive. You know,
It's very impressive. And he's very impressive in every realm.
Yeah.
In every aspect of what he says, and even how he defends criticism.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the things that I think is also like just really attractive to me about Robert Kennedy Jr. and about Vivek. Obviously, they have some different views on different things, but that they're just like when you talk to RFK Jr. about a topic, you get this impression that he's read a book about it. Oftentimes, you get the impression he's read several books about it.
Yeah,
and you get that impression with Vivek also. When you talk to Joe Biden, you're not. Not that I've actually had a conversation with him, but when you hear him talk, you're not convinced that he even knows what he's talking about.
Right.
And when you hear Donald Trump talk about something, it always kind of seems like he saw a show about it. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like he watched something, he sized up what his view was, and then he kind of made it. But I don't think it's too much to expect that like the president of the United States of America ought to be like a somewhat deep thinker.
Yeah.
You know?
It would be nice.
Like, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Like and that, you know, I mean, okay, you could say that about Obama. Obama seemed like he had read stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Aside from him, there's
Clinton.
Yeah, Clinton, very smart guy. But it would like after, you know, kind of where we've been going lately, it would kind of be nice to see someone like who's smart and a thinker.
It would be.